What is going on, people? I am here for day number 17. Okay, so we're more than halfway done with the month, more than halfway done with the 31 days half October series, which I'm doing on this channel. For those of you who don't know and haven't seen the first 16 days, go check it out. But pretty much it's my series where I do 31 horror movie reviews in 31 days. This is a thing that everybody does. This is probably my 4th year, I believe, doing this. So it's pretty much everybody loves watching horror movies in October, to get in the festive spirit, I guess you want to call it. And sometimes, you're looking for something new to watch. I try to do more independent titles, and I try to do them in alphabetical order. Like I said, I call it a little bit different. People do 31 Days of Halloween, 31 Days of Horror. I call it 31 Days Half October. And like I said, I try to do more independent stuff and do it in alphabetical order. But sometimes, it's hard to do all independent and always do it in alphabetical order, but I do try. Anyway, today's movie, I wouldn't call it so much of a horror movie. It's more of a thriller action type deal. But, if you're looking and you're saying, subgenres of horror, I guess you can throw thriller in there. This one doesn't have like blood, guts, and gore and stuff. It has a little bit, but nothing, over the top or anything like that. But before I get into the movie review, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy this review, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit that bell button. You don't really need to this month, but after this month, when, the videos aren't going to be every day, it'll be nice to, know when I do upload more stuff, whether it be reviews or unboxings or whatever. So hit that bell button and you'll know exactly when I upload this stuff. So anyway, today's letter is P, and the movie I'm going with is Punk Vacation. Like I said, it's not technically your everyday horror kind of deal. This one came out in 1987. This one is put out by Vinegar Syndrome. It is directed by Stanley Lewis. It's written by Lance Smith and Harvey Richelson. It stars Roxanne Rogers, Don Martin, Lewis Waldron, among many others. So pretty much, like I said, this is the Vinegar Syndrome, edition of it. Didn't know about it beforehand, and to tell you the truth, there's a lot of movies that I've never seen or heard of that Vinegar Syndrome puts out. So going into it, I'm like, I have no idea what it is. But pretty much what this is, it's like town folks versus punks. So pretty much what happens is these punks kind of come into this town. They've been there, but, now they're, I don't want to say doing an upbringing or whatever. But at one point in time, the local diner owner, I guess you want to call it, gets killed by these punks. His daughter is now out for revenge. Not that she could do much, so she kind of gets kidnapped and taken hostage by these punks. So now it becomes, like I said, the people in this town, these rednecks, I guess you would call them, versus the punks. And it becomes a war, and, all hell breaks loose kind of deal. Like I said, didn't know too much going into it. Like I said, there's not a whole bunch of, guts, gore, your typical horror type things. But it does have your thriller type deals, like certain things get, it kind of has a little bit of everything in it, to tell you the truth, because you would think, going into it, I thought it would be like I can't say I've seen many punk movies, but going into it, I thought it was going to be a little bit different than what it is. But like I said, it is 80s, cheese to, I don't want to say to the max, but there is 80s, an 80s vibe to it, I guess you want to call it. If you've seen movies from the 80s, it's kind of like, most of the movies at that point in time were cheesy and cheesy but fun, should I say. This one, too, has its own 80s feel, its 80s flair to it. It does, have its nudity and all that stuff in it. But pretty much the whole premise is, I guess you would call it the good guys versus the bad guys, the townsfolk versus the punks and all that stuff. But some of the punks have heart, I guess you would call it. Certain scenes, they just want to be accepted. People look down on it, I guess you would call it. Different classes. The punks are looked at different than, your everyday people. And is it fair or whatever have you? So it has its own little issues in it. But overall, the whole story arc is good versus evil, punks versus rednecks kind of deal. I enjoyed it for what it was, to tell you the truth. Like I said, going into it, I had no idea. Never heard of it before. But to tell you the truth, I don't want to say it's the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I dug it for sure. So, Punk Vacation, like I said, put out by Vinegar Syndrome. Check it out for sure. Like I said, Vinegar Syndrome puts out a whole bunch of these movies that I've never even heard of. And then checking them out, there's some that I didn't like as much as others, but I enjoyed this one. So check out Punk Vacation. For those of you who haven't checked it out before, in the description, I'll leave the trailer for it. I'll leave the IMDb description, and I leave where you can purchase it. I'm going to try to find it on, what do you want to call it, Vinegar Syndrome. Some of these are sold out, so I can't guarantee it, because especially sometimes they'll have the limited edition slipcovers, so they might not have the slipcover anymore, but I'll try to look for it. And also, in the beginning, I was mentioning all other people who are doing some kind of 31 days. This movie might not fit your fancy and you don't want to watch it, or you've seen it before, or all my other reviews, you might have seen all those movies. Check out everybody that I have linked in the bottom, in the description, so you can check their channels out and see what they're doing. Jonathan Moody is also doing some kind of, indie films, whether it be, low budget or whatever. He's doing it. He has guests on sometimes. The 13th Wolfman does it. Brian Gatto does it. Whole bunch of people. So like I said, just check the description and you'll see everybody who's doing some kind of 31 days. If you haven't already, like I said, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the review, go ahead, hit that thumbs up. It helps out. Maybe gets more people, to check it out. Hit that bell button so you know when I do upload more stuff. Like I said, don't have to this month, but do it anyway. And of course, I'll leave all the links to all my other social media so you can check that out. And I guess until next time, I'll see you guys. Now, if I can find the button, I'll end this video.